Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is all about just playing with a few new things that I ordered from Ulta with my 20% off, including the brand new Alyssa Edwards Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. So if you'd like to see me create this look and just have fun with a few new makeup items, please keep watching. Let's get started by prepping our skin. To be honest, really the only reason I got this was because the scent was so good. I had seen it at Ulta and wanted to give it a go. This is the Tarte Ready Set Radiant Skin Mist, and I moisturized my face earlier today, but it's fairly far into the evening. So I'm gonna just use this as like a refresh mist, and then we will go ahead and apply our makeup. So it says shake well. It has a very mojito-like fragrance, like it's very minty. It smells really good. I'm really just using that Tarte spray to get a bit of hydration, but I don't need too much moisture yet because we're actually going to use the Smashbox Photo Finish Crystalized Primerizer. I have tried the regular Primerizer, and so I'm assuming that the Crystalized is just actually more of a luminous version. And I love luminous dewy skin, so I'm sure I will enjoy this. Yeah, so it has almost like a pinky gold pearl. And I'll just apply this everywhere. Yeah, so this doesn't have like super shine to it, but it does add a little bit of a glow. So it's not like at all sparkly. It feels really good. I feel like this has a scent that the regular Primerizer doesn't have, but in all honesty, that could be from the Ready Set Radiant spray that we just used. So it's hard to tell, but it feels really nice. It's very light. So I would not say that this is necessarily something that I would use because it's called like primerizer, so it's supposed to be a primer and moisturizer, but this isn't necessarily, maybe in the summertime it would be enough, but for me, like fall and winter, this would never be enough moisture. But it's a great kind of like go-to, like grab and go if you're in a hurry and you don't have time for both steps. This would probably save some time. Yeah, so it's just got a nice glow to it. And when I got this, Ulta was doing like 30% off, or it was definitely on sale. So I'm glad I picked this up because I think I'm really going to enjoy this. Since we are going to be using the Alyssa Edwards palette today, I'm really excited to try this out. I feel like with a more dramatic eye look, I want a little bit more skin coverage than I would necessarily normally wear day to day. So I'm going to go through with the IT Cosmetics CC Cream. I did not pick this up in the haul, but I do have this on hand and it is available at Ulta. This is a really great, for me, very full coverage, like moisturizing product. So I would say it's not quite as coverage as like a high coverage foundation, but it's certainly more than your tinted moisturizer. It does have SPF 50, which is going to be great. I'm not going to need that because it's quite late at night and the sun has just gone down, so sorry about the lighting. This is the best we're going to get. But I have this in the shade medium. I'll put the CC cream on and some concealer and I'll be right back. I decided, since we're doing such a dramatic eye look, that it's totally not worth putting on concealer yet in case there's any fallout or anything that I need to clean up. So I just put the CC cream on. So this is with the IT Cosmetics. I just really like the finish of it. It has a bit of a fuller coverage. Priming my eyes with Soft Ochre from MAC. This paint pot, of course, is a classic, so I'm just going to use that to really get a very nice blank canvas to work with. Going through with the Sigma Concealer F75 brush. And I'm going to put this from my lid, like right from my lash line, all the way up to my brow bone, and just blend this out. So honestly, I used to use paint pots all of the time, like every day, and I've really kind of gotten out of it. I've mostly just been using concealer as my eye primer, but I do definitely notice a difference. I think the reason I got away from it was I was finding that paint pots in the drier weather are a little too much for my eyelids. It was like kind of making it look a little dry. But I think now with summer being here, this will be perfect. And then I just like to take my finger and tap that in. So there isn't really anything in this palette that I will use as like something to lay down over the lid first, because the paint pot will be kind of tacky, which is great if you want the pigment to stick really firmly right away, but I want to be able to do some blending. So I'm going to go ahead and go through and put a light translucent powder over that area first. We have DDC, Inspire, and then Beyond as our shimmers. So I think I'm going to use one of those shimmers on my lid and then more of the purples and blues in the crease. So we'll see how this goes. I'm honestly just going to play and have fun with not a warm neutral look. I just posted on Instagram stories the other day that every day I'm like, let's play and do something different. And then I pull out a palette and it always ends up being like a warm neutral look. All right, so let's just start with the Supreme. This just looks like a really nice, almost like peachy camel color, a peachy camel color. We'll go with that. I should probably zoom you in so you can see what I'm doing. All right, hopefully that's a little bit better. Sorry about that. So I'm just really laying that down in my crease and up, just kind of like blend everything together. And I'm purposely waiting on doing my brows because, in all honesty, the more dramatic my eye makeup, the more dramatic I like to make my brows. So I'm gonna kind of wait and see where we end up with this eye look to decide how I wanna add into my brows a little bit. And I did get a new brow product to try, so we'll see how that goes. I'm excited and nervous at the same time, like I think we always are when we try something new in our brows. This is a really pretty color. It's actually, on the skin, it's a bit, I don't want to say pinky, but in the pan it looks like more, almost like if you took an orange creamsicle and added a little bit of like a neutral brown to it, if that makes any sense. But on the lid, it's looking a little, or on my eye, it's looking a little bit like pinkier than I thought, but it's really pretty. Of course, this right now is starting to look like it's going to end up being a warm neutral look, but I promise it's not going to. I won't let it be. So my camera stopped filming and I didn't realize it, but I was going through with Unicorn Tribe and the Wayne Goss number 4 brush. Wayne Goss brushes are like my favorite eye brushes ever. They are an investment, but I find them to be worth it. So just taking that Unicorn Tribe and layering that over most of the Supreme, but leaving a little bit on the edges. And I did have some skipping on the inside of this eyelid. I'm going to try to blend it out as we go. Again, that could just be because I haven't used a paint pot in quite a while and I might not have put enough powder down, which is why I was saying like they really help add grip to your shadow, but sometimes it does make it a little bit harder to blend. And if you guys hear a thumping, our dog is right upstairs and her tail, she's got like a dangerous tail. So her tail is like thumping around and there's just no way you just can't count for the dog. So we'll probably have a little background noise in here. Sorry about that. I can totally hear her. I'm gonna try to adjust that skipping, just go over it a little bit. And I'm gonna take this color all the way to the inner corner. I think I'm liking that color so much that I'm almost like taking away all of what was there before. And I'm not too concerned about what happens on the outsides here. I will be able to clean that up with concealer. Okay, so I'm gonna just take that brush that I used for the Supreme. This is a Real Techniques brush. Just blending over the edges. Trying to work out that little, that actually worked a little bit. Okay, great. Just blowing out the edges there. That color is super pretty. I really like that. Let's take a bit smaller brush. This is the Luxie 231. And I'm going to take Dream It. Why not? So this is the blue in the palette. So because these shades are so pigmented, they're going to be fairly dusty. Like that's just going to happen, which is a big part of the reason why I chose not to go through with concealer. It's just part of the game. I thought I was just gonna put this in the outer corner, but it's really pretty. So I think I'm gonna put it over the lid and then put a shimmery shade over the top of it. So since that's what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna switch to a flat shader brush. Let's go through, this is Morphe M167. And I'm just pressing that, yeah. So if you guys can see, that's really packing that on. That's like what I like to call like power blue, where it just like kind of makes you feel like a badass. I love it. The other nice thing about using like padding motions is you're gonna get less fallout than you would if you like sweep the shade. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back in with that fluffy blender and just blend out the line where the blue is meeting the purple. And then we'll go back into Unicorn Tribe. These are super pigmented, but I am having such a problem with skipping, and that really could just be me. I haven't seen anybody else having problems with it, but I'm just wondering if I just didn't lay enough powder over that paint pot. And I do have a little bit of fallout, but I'll clean that up when we go through with our concealer. Okay, so now I'm gonna take that same flat shader brush that I used for Dream It, the blue color, and I'm gonna dip into DDG and press this onto the lid. So I like that purple tone. I really didn't pack it on too much. I just wanted to add a little bit of that shade and a bit of sparkle to the middle of the lid. I'm going to go through with the pink Texas Made just on the inner corner to add a bit of brightness. Because we might as well go big, right? Yeah, I like that. So I like everything so far, except I cannot get that spot on my lid, in my crease to like unskip. Okay, so let's take a little bit of Beyond. That's the pink shade. And just tap that right on the center of the lid. Just layer it right over the purple. And then I'm just going to use the flat shader brush to blend out the edges. So it just gives a bit of pop. My under eye is looking a hot mess. Okay, so now I'm going to take some Bioderma just to clean up that under eye a little bit. And then we'll go through with concealer. And I've really been enjoying the ColourPop No Filter concealers from my last video. If you haven't seen the goodies that I picked up from ColourPop, you can check that video out. But I'm gonna go through with a mix of medium 22 and light 16. I did find last time, after I got done filming, that medium was just like way too dark. Like I said, it was, it oxidizes a bit. So the skin or the color that you have when you start is very different than what you have 10 minutes in. And when I was looking at pictures later, I was like, oh my God, I'm like a couple shades darker than I really am. So I'm just taking the concealer to clean up that corner to make it a little bit sharper. Concealer's on. Now we're just gonna set it. And today I'm gonna use the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Dim Light to set. This used to be the only powder I used. I know I was talking about the Hourglass Veil in my last video, but this is really almost more of like a finishing powder. So it does have a bit of sheen to it. It's not shimmery at all. It just gives a little glow to the skin. But I find that sometimes if I'm using a really glowy, like tinted moisturizer or something, it can almost be like too much. But the CC cream isn't that glowy, so we should be fine with this. So just dusting that all over. Just getting that set so you can see it just cleaned up. I still want it a little bit blurred. I'm actually going to go through and blur that out a little bit more. These colors are so pretty. I will have to play a little bit more, and I'll update you guys in a future video how I'm liking this palette, but I just wish that color in my crease hadn't skipped so bad. I don't know if it's the shadow, if it's the primer, so I'll let you know. So I'm just taking a little bit of the Supreme back on that Real Techniques brush and just blurring out that edge again, just to soften it. I think I'm gonna go over this pink to soften that. I can only film on this camera in 20-minute increments, and so I keep forgetting and the camera keeps turning off. So what you guys missed is me applying the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in Bee Sting, and this is a really pretty bright blue. I love that Dream It shade, and this eyeliner is just gonna help that kind of like pop and stand out more. Now in an ideal world, I would have noticed that right before I put the cream gel liner on, because now it probably won't smudge out very well because it's been sitting there while I was trying to dink around with the camera again, but it's all right, we'll be okay. So I'm gonna go through, and then now we'll take that Dream It shade right over that ColourPop liner. Because usually it would smoke out really well. Those ColourPop liners are really creamy. So I'm just I'm just smoking that shade out on top of the liner. And this will help the color not only be a little bit stronger, but it's gonna help that last a lot longer than just like a regular shadow would. And by the way, it's the 4th of July, so if you hear fireworks going off, that's why. Okay, so I'm just gonna take another pencil brush and take that Unicorn Tribe color, that's that like mauve-y one, and just go right underneath that, just to blur that a little bit. So no one can say that I ended up with a warm neutral look. Definitely not. And then I'm going to take a little bit, just on that same brush, a little bit of Beyond, which is that shimmery pinky purple. And go through the inner corner. So here's the finished eye look. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I just wish I didn't have the skipping in my crease, but like I said, I'll play with that and get back to you guys. So now we'll do some liquid liner. When I got my Ulta order, I did get a sample of the roller liner by Benefit, so I'm gonna give this a go. So this felt tip liner looks pretty black. I usually like to use more of like a brush hair liner, but this should be fine for this look. I'm just gonna go right along the lash line. So I definitely like the black color that this has. It's really pigmented. It is a little hard with that felt tip liner to get really good control. The wing worked out okay. But I have like really curvy eyelids, and I found really curvy eyeballs, and I found that it was a little bit hard to control as I was going across. So we'll see. I'll have to play with that a little bit more, just like everything in a first impression. So I'm going to take a little bit more of the Dream It shade just to meet where my black wing is, so that there's not like a little gap. These are definitely some pigmented eyeshadows. Nobody's gonna argue that. All right, so now I'm gonna go through, curl my lashes, and apply mascara, and we'll come back to do the brows. So just like every eye look, this definitely shaped up a little bit more once I got my mascara on. And like I said, I really think that these are very pigmented shadows. I just want to work with them a little bit more. The only trouble I had was with that one spot. And I know I keep repeating it, but that was just a little disappointing because I just can't buff that out. But got my mascara on, and now we'll play with our brows. So I got the Ardell Stroke a Brow Feathering Pen, and I was really excited to try this because I really like the Urban Decay Brow Blade, but that has the pencil on the one side, and then it has the like felt tip pen on the other side. And so I was hoping that, because I will probably go through the felt tip side of that way before the pencil side of it, because I don't use as much pencil, but I was hoping that I could find a product that is just the pen. So I saw that they had this, and it was online only for Ulta, and I bought it in 2 shades because I just couldn't decide which one, medium brown and dark brown. Why I decided to film a video on the night of the 4th of July when everyone's going to be out shooting fireworks, I'm not quite sure. So the reason that I'm looking forward to trying this is, ever since I got my brows microbladed, I really like just more, because I couldn't touch them for like a week after that and put anything into it. I really got over the very like sculpted, filled in brow. But I do, especially when I'm wearing makeup as dramatic as this, I do like to fill them in a little bit more. So I'm hoping that this will give a little bit more of a natural effect. So let's see, this is the dark brown shade. Ooh, that's going to be, when I saw the felt tip, I was like, that's going to be too dark, but it's actually not. I'll show you guys here in just a moment. And the medium brown. These are both really nice. So if you guys can see there, the darker one is obviously the dark brown, and the lighter, more taupey one is medium brown. So I would think actually even darker blondes could get away with the medium brown. So I'm going to use the dark brown. That's the other thing. I am liking my brows a little bit warmer these days, so, which is really funny. I don't want them red by any means, but I want them a little bit warmer. So I'm going to go through with that dark brown because it is a bit warmer, especially next to the black eyeliner swatch there. So I'm just taking a Q-tip with some Bioderma to take off any foundation that ended up in my brows. Okay, so now we'll go through with that dark brown shade. So when you're using a pen like this, you just want to take and create like hairs with the pen. And I think that this, I honestly can't remember the price of it, but I'm sure it's less than the brow blade. This does have a thicker tip to it though. So it probably won't, you can't get as precise with this one. Okay, this is definitely warm. So if you like a very dark, cool tone, this probably won't be for you. So you guys can see one brow compared to the other. So that's with nothing but the little bit of microblading, and that's with the stroke a brow. I will say that I think that this is more pigmented than the brow blade. Like as far as the actual color that comes out, the brow blade is ever so slightly sheer, I feel like. Ooh, these are some warm brows. I'm gonna try to mix in a little bit of that medium brown shade. Next time, I will probably start with medium brown. Yeah, now that I'm using this, I feel like medium brown probably would have been the better shade. That I like the depth that the dark brown shade has, but it is like, the dark brown shade is really warm. Feeling a little intense. So I'm just gonna take a spoolie and see if I can soften that a little bit. I'm not sure if it's a good or a bad thing, but when I went through with the spoolie, it really, like all of those hairs just kind of like blended out. So I was able to like wipe off a lot of that, the darker, warmer shade. But I'm wondering if that means that this isn't really going to last very long. So I'm gonna wait. I was gonna put, I got the Benefit 24-hour brow setter. I have a little sample of this guy, and it's a great brow gel. It's a little bit stronger than the Anastasia brow gel, so I was going to throw that in my brows, but I think I'm going to wait a while and let that dry down before I go through and gel my brows. So what we'll do next is try out this. I did get a highlighter to try, but I'm going to go ahead and bronze and put a little bit of blush on, and then we'll go ahead and try that highlighter out. So I just went through and contoured lightly and went through with the Kathleen Lights and ColourPop blush in I Need Space. I hauled that in my last video, and I think it's perfect for when you need a little bit of color, but you don't want it to like clash with anything else. We've obviously got a lot of color going on already, so we just needed a little bit. So now we'll go ahead and go through with highlighter. So I was out with a friend one night, and she had this beautiful, natural, glowy looking skin, and I of course had to ask what she was using. So she snapped me pictures of the products that she was using, and I noticed that one of them was this Wet n Wild Hello Halo liquid highlighter, and I'm not sure if this is the shade that she had, but I did want to give one of these a go, and in this shade is 304A Halo Goodbye. This looks to be more of a pinky pearlescent. So it's definitely gonna have that pearly shift to it. When I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just lay this down on my hand, and for a bit more control, especially since we've already powdered a little bit, I'm just going to take the end of my beauty blender and dab that onto my hand just to spread out the product a little bit, and then pop it onto the cheek. That's pretty. So this definitely gives that more natural, anytime you're gonna use a cream or a liquid, you're going to get, obviously, it's gonna sink into the skin a little bit more than a powder. That's really pretty. It's, I mean, I don't wanna say natural by any means, but just kind of nice and glowy. A little bit on my Cupid's bow. And I think that they had maybe 3 or 4 shades of this. So they had a more golden one. And I think maybe even almost like a, I don't want to say holographic, but like violet-y tone maybe. What do you guys think? I like it a lot. That is definitely one of my favorites so far, and it was probably one of the least expensive, go figure. So the other product that I have to try is this Tarte Stay Spray. Again, this was on sale when I ordered, and so I thought I'd give it a whirl. So this is their setting spray. It says shake well, so we're gonna do that. Kind of goes with my eye look, right? It smells really good. It smells very nice and fresh. The spray in it is pretty fine. We'll see how it works. I will be curious. I definitely have a few setting sprays that I like, but it's one of those things that we always seem to be trying. So it's been a little bit. Hopefully that brow pen has dried, and I can go through with this 24-hour brow setter. I think this one is a sample size, like a travel size, but I did really enjoy it, so I wanted to pick it up with my coupon. So if you guys can see, it has a very different brush. It's kind of flat, and one side has, it's more like plastic bristles than like your regular mascara wand, and one side has very, very tiny bristles, and the other side has a little bit longer bristles, but they're all fairly short compared to your average like mascara wand. But I'm just going to brush my hairs up. For that more like feathery look. You would think with all of the hair that I was given on my head, I would have more eyebrow hairs, but I really just don't have much. So I really like that. It just gives that more like feathery, thicker, fuller look. And the only thing I have to do left, I can take my hair down now. The only thing I have to do left is throw on some lips. And I think I'm going to use the Lumiere pencil. I know when I did my ColourPop video, I was raving about that shade, but it just didn't work with the eye look. So I'm going to pop that on, and I'll probably just use the pencil. So I'll go ahead and pop this pencil on, and we might follow up with a gloss. I really like this. It's fairly transfer resistant. I mean, it's not going to be like a stay all day kind of look or anything, but it's creamy, so it spreads really nice, but it's not so creamy that it's going to slide everywhere. So you could put this under your lipsticks, wear it on its own with some gloss. The Lumiere shade in Kathleen's Lippy Stick from ColourPop is like my favorite all-time lipstick. It's very similar to this, maybe just a bit lighter than this. I can actually, why don't I just go grab it? Okay, so here is the Lippy Stick, and this is definitely one of my favorite all-time colors. So this lipstick, I feel like it just goes with so many different looks. I love the shade. It's like that beautiful sort of like cool mauve-y tone. So that is the final look. I'm gonna zoom you out and give you my final thoughts. Okay guys, so here we have the final look. Overall, I have to say I'm pretty happy. I did enjoy this radiant, this Ready Set Radiant Spray. It smells so good. I'll be really interested to try it. I think it's gonna be great even to just have in your bag. If you tend to get dry skin throughout the day, this would be a great one to just spritz because it felt really lightweight. And if you love like mojitos, you're gonna love this because I love the scent of that. I think my favorite of the batch was the Photo Finish Crystalized Primerizer from Smashbox. I'm so glad I picked this up. It was really kind of a last minute thought, but I'm really gonna enjoy this. I like the glow that it gave to my skin. I could even see just throwing it on a no makeup day when you just want to look healthy and radiant. So really enjoyed that one. The Alyssa Edwards palette, I really like the colors. I will be interested to try. You guys know there's that beautiful yellow in here that I'm going to have to give a go to. I should have used that with my ColourPop liner that I didn't end up using in my last video, but actually I did decide to go ahead and do another look with the palette. All of these shadows are from the Alyssa Edwards palette, and I did use the ColourPop liner underneath that yellow shadow, and the palette's beautiful. It must have just been an issue with the paint pot or just not powdering my lids enough before I went through with shadow. I think if you love Alyssa Edwards or if you love Anastasia palettes, it'd be a great thing to get because there really are some beautiful colors in here. I personally probably would have liked to have had one more shimmer shade in here, but I do think that the palette is well laid out. I liked all the shades that I tried. I'll just be interested to see how it performs in the future. So the Ardell brow pens, again, I think that the dark brown shade is really warm. If you are a dark brunette who likes a cool shade, you're not going to enjoy it. I would stick with the medium brown, and I'll use it over the next few days and let you guys know how it goes as far as longevity, smudgeability. If I'm putting something in my brows, I'm hoping it's gonna last all day because smoky brows are not really a thing. So I'll update you guys on that. Love, love, love this Wet n Wild highlighter. I really am glad I picked this guy up. Wet n Wild is so inexpensive and they are a cruelty-free brand, so I love that. I can't wait to use this a little bit more. So if you guys are looking for an inexpensive liquid highlighter, I would highly suggest that. So I really enjoy the 24-hour brow setter. It's a really nice, strong brow gel, and that's just a repurchase for me. And again, I'll let you guys know how the Stay Spray goes. I love the scent of it. I'll just see how the longevity goes. I'll use this guy over the next few days and give you guys an update. So I hope you enjoyed getting to see me play with a little bit of color. That's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed getting to hang out with me while I played with some new items from Ulta. I'll keep you guys updated. Please like this video if you found it fun and helpful, and I will see you guys really soon.